Jesse Jackson was born Jesse Louis Burns on October 8, 1941, in Greenville, South Carolina. He was a love child, the product of an affair between his then 16-year-old mother, Helen Burns, who was a high school student, and her 33-year-old married neighbor, Noah Louis Robinson. A year after his birth, Jesse's mother got married to Charles Henry Jackson, who eventually adopted Jesse as a stepson. At age 15, Jesse replaced his surname with Jackson, his stepfather's. Jackson had his childhood during the time the segregation of the whites from the blacks was profound. He and his mother, and likewise every other black then, weren't allowed to ride in the same bus with whites, and if such would be the case, they were asked to go to the back seats reserved for blacks. More so, they used separate water fountains, playgrounds, and were prohibited from accessing certain facilities patronized by whites. As if the political and social discriminations weren't enough for the young boy, he was made to face the mockery from children his age about the unpalatable circumstances that led to his birth. Jesse Jackson would later say that this event motivated him to pursue greatness. His high school education was at Sterling High School, Greenville. Jesse was a bright student with leadership potentials. Also, he was actively involved in different sporting activities. As a result, he was elected student class president in high school and was a letterman in baseball, football, and basketball. After graduating from Sterling High School in 1959, Jesse took a football scholarship to study at the University of Illinois, whose student population was predominantly white. Even though he was doing well academically, he felt racially discriminated on the football pitch. So, after his second semester in the school, he transferred to North Carolina A&T, a university mainly attended by blacks, in Greensboro, North Carolina. Like one who had found his element, Jesse quickly adapted to A&T, where he played the quarterback, which he wasn't privileged to experience in his previous school. Soon, he was elected the president of the student body. The political position mandated him to actively participate in local civil rights protests against the segregation law in force in the United States against blacks in the use of libraries, restaurants, and movie theaters. Thus, early exposures to the racial matters at the heart of the average African American prepared Jesse for a future leadership role under Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and in the economic and the political enlightenment of blacks. Upon his graduation from A&T in 1964 with a Bachelor of Science in Sociology, he proceeded to the Chicago Theological Seminary on a scholarship to earn a master's degree as a prerequisite to be ordained a church minister. However, civil rights activism had eaten deep into him that he had to drop out from the program in 1966 to give his full attention to the civil rights movement. Today, the black community as well as the rest of Americans in the United States respect Jesse Jackson as a strong voice that consistently advocate racial unity as the way forward to achieve a greater America. It's not uncommon to see or hear of people who are victims of an oppressive system in power become hardened towards every form of justice. The least on their mind would be to motivate others in their shoes to work for the attainment of objectives beyond seeking revenge on their oppressors. Eddie Vedder said, "The best revenge is to live on and prove yourself. If you can think of any worthwhile revenge on those who made life difficult for you, let it be your successful life." Chris Jami offered, "To seek greatness is the only righteous vengeance. When you focus on turning your pain as the fuel to your elevation, it won't be long before all eyes will behold your rising. That's a revenge without vengeance." Marcus Aurelius added, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. Think of the times you were maltreated, falsely accused, or stripped of your rightful belongings. Did you feel unwanted and unloved? If so, change the narrative for the benefit of those coming after you."